Hey everybody, Chance Priest here, Victory Comics, Where's Your Universe, all that jazz. Hey, I know we've been selling a whole lot of blanks lately, blank figures, and I have so many questions about how to paint them. What's the best way to? How do y'all do it? What do you know? So I thought, well, let me just tell you how we do it. And if you know me, if anybody ever told me to do it a certain way, I'm gonna figure out a better way. So maybe y'all can figure out a better way, but this is the way we do it, okay? Most of the time, your blanks are gonna come white like this. We powder now because of the plastic shortages and COVID stuff. We have to powder our molds a lot, so you'll see black residue, and the blanks aren't near as pretty and white as they used to be, but it don't matter because you're gonna paint them anyway, so let's get with it, you know? Okay, the first thing we do on a white blank like this, if we're going to do a white blank, we spray it because that's the fastest way to get it black. And I only use, everything else is sticky or no good or whatever. That right there, that Krylon black satin, that stuff's magic. And the down part of it is you got to spray it and tilt it. I take the cap of like a spray can cap, lay them in there, spray them different angles, flip them, spray them. I usually, as you can see, with black fingers, I'll hold them and spray them, and they take a lot of coats. You know, it takes like if we have a 5 or 6 in there, you know, we'll go back and forth for about an hour, spraying, drying, spraying, drying, spraying, drying, and even then you'll still have spots that you won't get done. So I come in here with a little thin black from a Vallejo paints. I like to use I like to brush on airbrush paints, but I like the thin stuff because it gets in the cracks real good, and I can put it on the black and just, you know, knock it out. Now if you ever get our blanks, and if you look around real close, you're going to find a little pinhole there, here, there, because that's just natural to the casting process and the kind of stuff we're using. So yeah, you want to fill that. If it's any kind of hole that we didn't catch, we'll try to fill anything of significance. I'm gonna say 90% of what we cast don't need any fill at all. But sometimes you got to have a little fill because maybe that was just you have an off day, like a real humid day, and you're gonna have more holes than usual, so stuff like that. So what you do is you come in there. I use this right here, this Sculpting Epoxy, okay? Great stuff. Best stuff ever made, to be honest with you. Best stuff you'll ever use. Abe's Sculpting Epoxy. And you can take a couple of pinches of it, make little round balls, make them equal, mix them together, and you can get a little dab of water or a little spit, whatever you want to do, and just mix it in there and just blend it, and then take a little tool or a brush end or whatever like that and just mix it in there. It hardens, and it is so good. I mean, it's better than the stuff you're putting it in. It is so heavy duty. You can also, like, if you want to take this guy and you want to make horns on him, you could sculpt him out of that Aves, put horns on him, dab it in there, you know, mix it in, blend it in there, and they're solid. They won't come off. They won't break off. So that stuff's great. But yeah, if you got any kind of little pinholes or anything you need to fill, that's what you fill them with, okay? Of course, you'd want to do that before you sprayed, before you primed it, sprayed it black or whatever. Now, a lot of times what we do, also a Dremel tool. If you got a Dremel, if you have a spot on here you don't like, or you want to make details somewhere, you can take a Dremel and carve right into this stuff all you want. You can drill right through it. It won't break apart. It's solid as a rock. You can also take a pocket knife and carve little details. If you want something on there, you know, something that's not on there and you want to put it on there, you know, we're talking about doing custom stuff, right? So that's what you do. Now, when you are painting like the way we paint, what I like to do is dust the molds first with black, and then they come out black, so I don't have to go through the anguish of spraying, you know. Now, if I need a blank and I'm like, okay, I already cast that in white, or maybe the boys cast it in white, and I'm like, I want to use that, then I'll spray it black. But if I'm doing it, I'm going to cast it in with a black, a carbon. It's a carbon black powder that we put in there, and so it is actually into the plastic. Okay, so you got it like that. Then, okay, who we got here? Let me pick somebody I paint all the time. Precious Trooper, probably the most common to paint, right? I paint a lot of them suckers. I don't paint near as many as AAA does, who is our master painter here. but I paint some, you know. So what I like to do, okay, I work in a lot of flat brushes, you know. I mean, almost do the whole thing in a flat brush. Even a bigger flat brush works good. So I'm probably gonna want some silver. It usually works out pretty darn good. I have other stuff that I use on here like gunmetal to give it a little darker, but just start with a little bit of silver. I'm not gonna sit there and do the whole damn thing. You'll figure it out real quick. I just use my table, of course, because I've been doing it for years. So you just dab it, and then you brush it till it gets a little tacky, and then you can. This is just dry brushing, and you just tap it over there like that. Get a little bit more. If you want it brighter, hit it twice. If you want it less bright, wipe more of it off before you start doing it. It'll go either way. Boom, 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 boom. I ain't no pro painting video man, but I'm just going to show y'all how we do it. Okay, and there you go. So you got black details still down in there. And if you want to, after you do that, if you think, man, that's too bright, you know, I want it to look like it's been in war or whatever, take some black and put it down there and get some water on the tip of your brush and mix it in, and you can give it a smoky effect. You can take some grays or even some gunmetal, which is a little bit darker, and you can tap it on top of that, and it gives it, you know, more of an uneven look. Even though the way I painted it right here, and of course the way I sculpted it, is meant to give it an uneven look, because I don't like even stuff. I like stuff to look real natural, real organic. So we do that. You'll go through all your different phases of all the stuff you want to paint. And like I say, I use a flat brush. I use it dry as I can get it, and just go over it. And like I say, it's just so easy. You know, you do have to watch your edges. You don't want to over paint, so you got to paint on top of something else and all that jive, you know, jazz jive, whatever it is. And there you go. But anyway, you can make it look great. And then of course come back with all your detail paints and just use fine brushes. I use the finest brush to do a whole lot of stuff, but I use it like it's a flat. And I have a little bitty flat. I don't know where it's at, but a little bitty flat that I use also to cover, you know, all the little doodads, the little lights and stuff like that. Once you're done there and you got him all painted, then you're gonna go and seal him, okay? And I will show you all, I will take pictures of these bottles, and I will put it on the tail end of this video. And yeah, spray seal him, do it mist the first time, and you know, give him a light mist, and then go a little heavier the second time. I usually do 3 coats, and then the third time I give him a nice heavy coat. So that makes them really sealed. I like them to have a candy I like to be able to knock them over in the paint, you know, no skids on the paint. That's the way I like to do it. And that is pretty much it, y'all. That tells y'all everything you need to know. And like I said, I'll take a picture of the Aves, the black that we use, and the sealer that we use. We use an automotive sealer now. We actually used it because we ran out of our regular stuff, and it actually works better. So I'm glad. Little good things that happen from stuff being out. Anyway, that'll help y'all out. I hope it helps y'all out. If y'all need any advice or anything on any of that stuff, just holler at me. Vallejo paints. It's I use testers too, but Vallejo paints is the best. It's what we use all the time. It's more accessible. It lasts longer. You know, as far as like the bottles last longer, it goes a long way. And if you're airbrushing, of course, you can just load them right into the airbrush. And we use airbrush too, so it's good to have Vallejos. We can use either or. You know, I hope this helped. I know this video is probably the worst video ever made, but I hope it helps y'all make some pretty WOTU figures. And we're gonna have a lot of blanks coming out. So get ready, victory. One more thing, y'all, something I get asked about all the time. How do you paint up in them joints, those arm joints? Because the arms come on, they're permanently put on, y'all. They have to be boiled and formed on the limb, the stalk. So they're permanent. They're not meant to take off. You will break your arm if you try to take it off. If you boil it and pull it off, more than likely it's going to be loose when you put it back on. That's just, you know, I'm just telling you, don't take it off. So what you do is when you start to do this, take a little bit of your black, or if you're doing like a solid color, like a blue or something, you really don't want black in there, which I don't know why you wouldn't want black in there, because you can always paint a little bit over it, and black just fills the gaps, you know. Take some of your thinnest black, and if you have to add a little water to it, and just run only the thinnest paint. Don't do anything thick, and you can just run it straight in those joints like that. It'll cover those joints and it won't shear off. I'm sure some of y'all have gotten thick paint, which it only makes sense, okay? If you paint a bunch of thick stuff where something moves, it's gonna crack, okay? So just don't do that. And like I say, I use that right there, that Air Game black, dab it, run it in there like that. You don't even have to put water with it. It's done. That's a helpful tip.